Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Gazina Hussein, and I will be conducting a portion of today's event, including the Quran, and then we'll introduce the conductor from Virginia Tech University to carry on the rest of the program. So today we would like to start off with Quran. So if we can have Brother Muhammad Habibi to come and recite Quran for us, and then until 9:15, if that's okay. Well, 9:15 EST, so you can convert that to your own time zone. If he's here, not sure.
Yeah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. كل الطعام كان حلا لبني إسرائيل إلا ما حرم إسرائيل على نفسه من قبل أن تنزل التوراة. قل فأتوا بالتوراة فاتلوها إن كنتم صادقين. فمن افترى على الله الكذب من بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الظالمون. قل صدق الله. فاتبعوا ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين. فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا. ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين. قل يا أهل الكتاب لم تكفرون بآيات الله والله شهيد على ما تعملون. قل يا أهل الكتاب لم تصدون عن سبيل الله من آمن تبغونها عوجا وعنتم شهداء وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن تطيعوا فريقا من الذين أوتوا الكتاب يردوكم بعد إيمانكم كافرين. وكيف تكفرون وأنتم تتلى عليكم آيات الله وفيكم رسوله ومن يعتصم بالله فقد هدي إلى صراط مستقيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها. كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. يوم تبيض وجوه وتسود وجوه، فأما الذين اسودت وجوههم أكفرتم بعد إيمانكم فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون. وأما الذين ابيضت وجوههم ففي رحمة الله هم فيها خالدون. تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وما الله يريد ظلما للعالمين. ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإلى الله ترجع الأمور. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون. لن يضروكم إلا أذى وإن يقاتلوكم يولوكم الأدبار ثم لا ينصرون. ضربت عليهم الذلة أينما ثقفوا إلا بحبل من الله وحبل من الناس وباءوا بغضب من الله وضربت عليهم المسكنة ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون الأنبياء بغير حق ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. ليسوا سواء من أهل الكتاب أمة قائمة يتلون آيات الله آناء الليل وهم يسجدون يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويسارعون في الخيرات وأولئك من الصالحين. وما يفعلوا من خير فلن يكفروه والله عليم بالمتقين. إن الذين كفروا لن تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا وأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. مثل ما ينفقون في هذه الحياة الدنيا كمثل ريح فيها صر أصابت حرث قوم ظلموا أنفسهم فأهلكته وما ظلمهم الله ولكن أنفسهم يظلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا بطانة من دونكم لا يألونكم خبالا ودوا ما عنتم قد بدت البغضاء من أفواههم وما تخفي صدورهم أكبر قد بينا لكم الآيات إن كنتم تعقلون. ها أنتم أولئك تحبونهم ولا يحبونكم وتؤمنون بالكتاب كله وإذا لقوكم قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا عضوا عليكم الأنامل من الغيظ قل موتوا بغيظكم إن الله عليم بذات الصدور إن تمسسكم حسنة تسؤهم وإن تصبكم سيئة يفرحوا بها وإن تصبروا وتتقوا لا يضركم كيدهم شيئا إن الله بما يعملون محيط وإذا غدوت من أهلك تبوئ المؤمنين مقاعد للقتال والله سميع عليم إذ همت طائفتان منكم أن تفشلا والله وليهما وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون ولقد نصركم الله ببدر وأنتم أذلة فاتقوا الله لعلكم تشكرون إذ تقول للمؤمنين لن يكفيكم أن يمدكم ربكم بثلاثة آلاف من الملائكة منزلين بلى إن تصبروا وتتقوا ويأتوكم من فورهم هذا يمددكم ربكم ب5,000 من الملائكة مسومين وما جعله الله إلا بشرى لكم ولتطمئن قلوبكم به وما النصر إلا من عند الله العزيز الحكيم ليقطع طرفا من الذين كفروا أو يكبتهم فينقلبوا خائبين ليس لك من الأمر شيء أو يتوب عليهم أو يعذبهم فإنهم ظالمون ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض يغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله غفور رحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تأكلوا الربا أضعافا مضاعفة واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون واتقوا النار التي أعدت للكافرين وأطيعوا الله والرسول لعلكم ترحمون صدق الله العلي العظيم
اللهم صل على
Muhammad.
وعلى
Thank you
محمد.
so much for that beautiful recitation. The coordinator for tonight's event from Virginia Tech University is also Brother Muhammad. So if you can take over and begin the program for tonight. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brothers and sisters, inshallah your a'mal and fasting and prayers have been accepted by Allah Almighty so far. We are at the first day of the beautiful month of Ramadan, and inshallah we from Virginia Tech, Ahlul-Bayt Student Association of Virginia Tech, have the tawfiq to host the second night of the quarantine series. I'll be giving a brief introduction on how APSA was initiated at Virginia Tech. Then I talk about the lecturer. Inshallah, pass on to Dr. Saidi Kiampur, who will be talking tonight about marriage. So basically, a few years back, Ahlul-Bayt Student Association here at Virginia Tech started with the gathering of Thursday nights for Dua Kumail at one of the brothers' house. And we felt like somehow we need to get out there and do something, but we didn't know how to. So basically, we came up with some ideas. And one of the brothers took the steps forward to go and register the organization, and he thought we better go with something that is more genuine and like it's something that's more common with the name. So we picked Ahlul-Bayt Student Association. With the help of the APSA at Rutgers University, if I pronounced the name right, um, and also the help from Sheikh Farouk Sekalishvar, who helped us like to write the mission and vision and sort of a very brief constitution. We started with the Water on Ashura program, also with the help of a sister from Stanford University. She sent in like this long email with the steps and like instructions how to do it, and then followed by the very first Arabian photography exhibition that took place here, and the Nurse Day, and some weekly discussions on Dua Kumail, and sometimes the occasions like Arba'in, Ashura. But Alhamdulillah, it's been a great journey for all the brothers and sisters, for some of us who graduated already, and some are still here. It's been a great tawfiq. Um, Basically, I guess what makes it a unique experience is like we are always in our own bubbles, and when we get the chance to get out there and express ourselves, especially as Muslims and specifically as Shia Muslims, it would make a great difference. So I wanted to just to share a few, like one memory. Like once I was taking this class, it was a graduate level class, and it was from the graduate school, and like people from different backgrounds. Like I'm talking about LGBTQ, like it's like a liberal atmosphere. Like, and most of the class was about like it was diversity in academia, and it was a lot. There was a lot of discussions and stuff. So at the end, we had to present these projects, and if we were willing to submit as part of the diversity scholar program at Virginia Tech, they would go through the proposals, and you would be chosen as the diversity scholar project, and then they help you sort of to do your project. So I submitted the photography exhibition proposal, Arabian photography exhibition, and it was chosen. And then later on we did it. I mean, it wasn't any different from the years before, but the fact that we had to present it in front of like at least 40-50 people in the class, and then later on in front of other people as part of a diversity scholar project, I guess it was a huge opportunity. So I would encourage every one and each of you to be creative, to not to feel shy, and come up with ideas as part of your student organizations. And inshallah, with the help of Allah and with the attention of Ahlul-Bayt, you'll be able to do those ideas, inshallah. So about our program tonight is mostly a lecture by Dr. Saeed Kianpur. Brother Saeed used to be a PhD student here at Virginia Tech. I'm just going through his biography. So Dr. Saeed Kianpur and his master's degree in clinical psychology, family therapy. I guess in the parentheses he is a registered psychotherapist. I don't know what that is, but in the parentheses qualifying, comma, marriage and family therapist. He did his undergrad and master's back home in Iran in Isfahan, beautiful city of Isfahan, and then he moved to Virginia Tech in 2014 to pursue his PhD in human development / marriage and family therapy at Virginia Tech. He did also an internship in as a doctoral behavioral science intern at Indiana University Family Medicine program, and he's currently residing in Ottawa, Canada. I guess since 2 years ago, and he's practicing there in a clinic. He has a great amount of experience in counseling individuals, couples, and families in Iran, United States, and Canada, and we are very happy to have him as the lecturer tonight. I guess you guys had the opportunity to send questions and ask him. I guess only one person asked him, but I guess if at the end you have any questions and we have time, we might be able to answer some of those questions. With that, I wanted to pass it on to him with salawat ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Dr. Said?
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Bismillah.
And also, do you see me?
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, let me to share my screen first. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thank you all that are attending to the tonight program hosted by APSA Network at Virginia Tech. And this is the second time that we are going through a same topic, kind of a similar topic by APSA Virginia Tech. In the bio, Brother Muhammad, when he was reading my bio, so registered psychotherapist. So when you are done with the clinical hours and your academic, and you get your degree, in order to practice in one of the provinces in Canada or even in the United States, if you want to practice, you need to go through registering yourself as a psychotherapist or family therapist in order to be able legally practice in that state or province. So, and then you get a credential, like as a like me, registered psychotherapist, and in each steps that you need to take, you get a specific credential. For example, for me, the first step is qualifying, and then after that, after passing an exam, I get like a full registered psychotherapist. So it is just a matter of the time and the steps that you need to take. Okay, so, and for tonight, inshallah, we're gonna talk about successful marriage and or how to have a successful marriage. So it's very difficult to kind of form a title for this workshop, because how to have a successful marriage, it's really depends on the couples or individuals' characteristics, or how they want to approach their marriage, or how they define a successful marriage. So we're gonna inshallah talk about some of the characteristics of successful marriage, and how we can have like a type of marriage that is fulfilling and satisfying for us. So, and I don't like to just me be a speaker or have like a monologue kind of conversation here. So I would rather to have like 20 minutes or 25 minutes going over my slides, and then through my lecture, if you have any questions, just in the chat box, if you can have your questions, and then brother Muhammad gonna organize those questions, and then will let me know. And after that, inshallah, to the end of this program, inshallah, we try to cover those questions too. Um, okay, so for tonight, we're gonna talk about 4 categories in order that help us to be prepared for marriage. So one of the steps that we need to take is self identification. So how we need to like take some steps to better know ourselves, and like different aspects that included in that part. And the second one is the measures for marriages. So what kind of measures that you need to consider, um, like for example, you want to see the person that you are going to get married, it's like at the level of religiousness, for example, the level of education, and we're going to talk about that, inshallah. And then proposal, the time that you get to know someone, or you are just trying to get to know someone, and then you need to come up with some questions, and then ask those questions, and then how to actually approach to that person, and like, and also it has lots of cultural component to that, you need to consider those as well. And the fourth one, which is kind of a maintenance, or the way that after marriage that you need to maintain your marriage, you need to take care of your marriage. So that is basically through type of communication that you have with your spouse. For the part, the self-identification, I would say, so these kind of the categories that I'm going through, it can be different from, like for example, me as someone who's expert in like marriage and family therapy with someone else. So these, I think, based on my experience and knowledge that I have, I think these steps are good for the marriage candidates to take. So you can, through self-identification, you can identify your expectations of marriage, and also the expectations of your family of marriage. So, and also some other part, like your personality traits, what kind of personality you have. So for this part, I would suggest everyone. It is not common in the States specifically for for marriage to do that, but I think it's worth if you try like to take the MMPI test or inventory. MMPI, it's a Minnesota multiphasic personality inventory. It was basically built to identify kind of mental disorders, but at the it is one of those psychometric tools that probably more than 10,000 papers just written about this, or like the experiments, or like studies have been conducted on this inventory. So it has a really scientific background, so it is really reliable. So, and through all these studies, they could identify that this inventory really cannot identify like those mental disorders, but personality traits. So MMPI-2 is really nice and is really a reliable tool to identify those personality traits. So if you have any like resources or anywhere that you can go and ask them to that let you to take that exam, that would be great. And also, if you at the same time, if you are getting to know someone and you are in a process of like, you know, getting to know someone for the purpose of marriage, you can ask that person also to go and take that exam. and you can just ask the counselor or the psychologist to make a comparison between the result of these two tests, your test and his or her test. And another one is NEO or NEO inventory. This is also um, um, a psychometric inventory that also examine the personality traits. It actually examined 5 personality traits that each of them has 6 subcategories. So it's almost, I think, like around 30 personality traits. It's examined 30 personality traits. But MMPI examined 10 personality traits. Um, so you can use those tools to get to know yourself, your personalities, your mental status, and it's very good tools that are available for you to use them for the purpose of marriage. Um, and for the family characteristics, and I would say this is a long-term process that you need to, for example, from tonight, you just start creating a list of your family characteristics. Just try to be like realistic, and let's say my family has these characteristics. For example, my family are very, like, for example, kind to others, or I have a family that they are just trying to keep secrets, like they have like some family secrets. They try to keep those inside the family. They do not let anyone to know what's happening inside the family. This is one of those characteristics. Or you would say my family is just very generous. They you know, pay money for like many things, or like we are a kind of a family that we are really welcome to others. We invite people to come our house, and we are the family that we help poor people. You can just, make a list of all those characteristics, um, and it doesn't need to be, to write that list just in one night. It's a long term process. You can just every day or every night or every week add something into that. And sometimes you may like run into a new characteristics after a while, and see, and say, oh, I didn't know that my family has like that characteristics, or able to do that, so let's add it to my list. And sometimes when you run into some special situations, like for example the quarantine that we are in now, it's a really weird situation, and like different families may react differently to this issue, so you can also add all those things to your list. um, so through this way you can have a better idea regarding yourself and also your family. um, So, and through this kind of self identification, and that you try to get to know yourself and also your family, you may come up with some reasons for marriage. So, you probably identify that your reason, you're asking yourself that what is my reason? What is my, like, what are my reasons or motivators for getting married? So, why I'm going to get married? So I'm seeking for love and companionship. Do I love children and kids? And because I just want to have kids, I'm going to get married with someone. Um, for some of these, you may say, or it's just this family therapist is just kidding. But honestly, I've seen a lot of people who just look for some of like the reasons that they have for marriage is just, if they prioritize some of the reasons, they are on top of the list. For example, children, they are not like consciously look for love or companionship. Let's say I want children. I really love kids. Because of kids, I want to go get married with someone. So and then they may like put the like those important keys for getting for marriage like in down in their list. So and we're not sure if they are going to have a successful marriage. So or adult identity. So one of the reasons that some of the people, they just want to show others that they are adult, and they want to show off their identity as adult, or the community or the culture requires them as part of being adult is to getting married. But doesn't matter if they are enough mature or not, emotionally, financially, intellectually. um, and also commitment and personal fulfillment. So the person has something inside, and he wants to just fulfill it. So he wants to prove something to himself or someone else. So they go take steps and going to have a marriage. Or social legitimacy or social pressure is a kind of the pressure that they feel from others. Economic security, yeah, they are insecure economically, and they are looking for, the person is looking for a place or somewhere that they just become secure economically. So and probably the best way is to getting married in her or his mind. Or rebellion, like a type of like the some of the people or the young people that they are just um, want to, for example, run away from home, or they are looking for somewhere other than their house. So probably legitimate or a kind of legal, um, or like a culturally acceptable place to do that is through marriage. And so it can be one of the reasons that the people just take steps toward marriage and trying to get married. And practical solutions to problems. For example, a person has a problem at home and they cannot fix it. Like the parents are very conflictual, and the young kids, I mean, like the young adults in the house, they are not comfortable with that, and they just trying to find a solution for that, and they go out and they just get married with someone because they just they don't want to be stay at home anymore. Or for example, the person like um, got pregnant out of the wedlock, and they are just finding a solution for this problem. So one of the the solution for that problem is to get married as soon as possible before others realize that like for example that person is pregnant. So it's a kind of a practical solution to that problem. um, so measures, like some of those characteristics or criteria that we need to measure. One of them is religiousness. So the level of religiousness and different religion and faith. So we are now living in a world that, like specifically in Canada and the US, that we have people with totally different backgrounds living together. Like you may see someone who is Christian and getting married with someone like a Muslim, or in the same religion, like she man get married with the Sunni sister. So how these are very important, that we just try to see that how they work in marriage. So specifically for the raising of the kids, and also how they respect their each other's faith. So for example, one of the cases that I had was about a Muslim man who got married with the a Christian woman. That it was really interesting that every Sunday he gave right to her to the church, and in the Ramadan, um, his wife just uh, woke him up for the suhoor, for the like to have like before the sunrise to get fast. So it was really interesting that they how they just respect their faith and just help each other to to practice their faith. So and in the same religion, like for example the different levels of practice in religion, if you are doing the like a handshaking with the non-mahram or not, if you are comfortable with your spouse to have hijab or not, or the level of the communication between mahram or non-mahram. These are those topics that you really need to sit and talk about them. Um, so, for example, any other issues in the measurement or in the measures that you need to consider is the level of education. So I wouldn't say that like someone who has like PhD cannot get married with someone who doesn't have any academic like degree, but it's better to have compatible like degrees or education level. So if someone is like has like for example master, it's better to getting married with someone who has also a master or at least a bachelor degree or a PhD. And also about the job and its priority for both parties. So what is the place place of job in each other's life? So if someone is just trying to spend most of the time at job or just bringing some of the works at job to home and spend time, the time that he or she needs to dedicate to the family is dedicating to the job. The family status, social, financial, education, and ancestry. So these are very important that you need to sit and talk about them and consider them when you are just trying to measure all those criterias for the purpose of marriage. And maturity, intellectual, emotional, financial, some of them um, can be through those inventories that I already mentioned. Psychological differences, also some of those inventories that I mentioned. Age differences, that is very also important. That the kind of age differences that I usually suggest to marriage candidates is between 3 to 7 um, differences. The man 3 to 7 years be older than the girl. So it's a kind of idle age differences, but it doesn't matter. It is not just like a prescription that I'm prescribing you. See that if it's you need to do that, otherwise it's not going to be a successful marriage. So it is one of the characteristics, one of the criteria that you need to consider. And also cultural differences, like the rituals or whatever that you do in your family. And it's also can be part of the family characteristic that you are just trying to make a list of. And it's a long process. You can also include all those cultural stuff into that list. Um, and specifically for the lifestyle, the type of lifestyle that you have, and for the time of marriage, like what do your family do with the marriage rituals? What do the culture say about all those kind of marital rituals and like a dowry or marriage ceremonies and all those stuff. Um, Also political perspectives. You need to, if because our life are kind of tied to politics too, is good to talk about it, but it's I'm saying that it is a kind of one of those characteristics. and it also depends on the level of importance in your in your mind or ideological perspective that you may like trying to get to know someone who politically is totally opposite of you, but for some other aspect you think that you are very compatible. So it's good to, you know, continue that kind of um, process to getting to know more that person. And also physical differences, um, like the beauty that is kind of more it's kind of seems that it's more important for men, but also it also depends on the place that you, the level that you put that physical differences or the beauty in your priorities in your list. um, and also communication, that if we have time I'm gonna talk about these four horsemen, uh, inshallah. And proposal, so it's a time that you are just getting to know someone. It can be direct, you get to know someone in college, in the university, and you go ahead and ask a person to see if she is actually like the one who's taking the first step or initiate that process is a man. So to see if that person, that the girl is enough ready or comfortable to talk about the future and the purpose of marriage. Or family oriented, like your mom know someone in the family or in the like a network of friends, and then take the first step and go and see if uh, they are enough comfortable or if they are willing to like talk about uh, marriage. And intermediary, like for example someone in the community is like a matchmaker, like doing matchmaking. You go ahead and ask the person that if you know anyone that is gonna match with your priorities and expectations, and then she or he try to find someone and hook you up. So um, so through this proposal, when you assume that you get to know someone, you're just trying to get to know someone, and you are like kind of matched together, or you just connected, linked to each other. So through this kind of proposal, through this process of getting to know that person, that I would say if you just try to spend enough time on it, I wouldn't say like, for example, 3 months or 4 months or just 1 month is enough. So it depends on how you are approaching, how much time you have, or like this process kind of how long it can like take. So I have a list of questions here that I already share with some of the participants in the last workshop. So I would ask the apps network that they can share it with anyone who's interested. So do you see these questions, or I'm just opening up another slide, another like a PDF file. Do you see that, or?
No, we are not seeing anything other than the PDF, than the PowerPoint slides.
Okay. You should see that now.
Yes.
Okay, so these are kind of questions for here. I have like 30 questions, but you can add on your questions to this list. And these are kind of a selective questions that I choose here. This is like a fundamental basic questions that are really essential questions that you need to talk about them. You need to spend time on them. And also after asking each of these questions, you probably come up with like different sub questions, and you need to spend time on them and analyze them. So it are very important. Like for example, like randomly I just select like few of them. um, who are your friends and why. So you need to talk about each other friends and why you are friend with this guy, why you are friend with that guy. So you don't need to be very kind of uh, having like a negative attitude about the friends, but it's good to talk about the friends and try to be optimistic, but with the positive attitude. So or like for example, how much free time is spent away from one another is acceptable, or if it's acceptable at all. Like how much TV do you watch, and how much you are going to watch after the marriage. It also depends on, like for example, the time that you have, but these are some of those part of your lifestyle after the marriage. So whatever lifestyle that you have before the marriage is going to be kind of in somehow continue after the marriage too. So do you have play video? Do you play video games? Those are very important questions that you can ask. Um, like, are you in depth? Like, for example, or like some people, like specifically in Canada, you can see that in order to go to the university, you need to get a loan from the government. And also in the US, also you need to get like a loan to go to the graduate school. So these are really important, and to know that what is your like um, your goals for the future, your jobs that you are going to have, and how you are going to repay that loan, and how it's affecting the um, your financial situation in family after the marriage. And these are important questions that you can ask. So let's go to my slides, and then communication. So it's going to be for the after the marriage. I would say I would stop at this point, and we will see if we have any questions, so we can take care of those questions. Brother Muhammad, do we have any questions?
Okay, thank you, brother Said, Dr. Kanpur. So one of the brothers asked if they can get a copy of the questions document by email or WhatsApp, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I will ask the APSA network that they can share those questions with anyone who wants. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask everyone. We have like 7 minutes. If you have any questions and you would like to send me like privately in the chat box, I would ask Dr. Kanpur. So the very one of the questions Dr. Kanpur was asked is, how would you evaluate the distant marriage, the long distance, um, as if one of the couples like is living in one city and the other one is living like
Yeah, generally, I wouldn't recommend kind of long distance relationship. Otherwise, you know how to handle that. So it's really important to know how to handle long distance relationships. So because um, you are away from each other, and I don't know like how many times or after how long you have the chance to meet each other, like after 2 months, like between the semesters, you know, once a year. Like it depends on the time that you can, meet each other after a while. So how do you wanna, you need to have a plan, you need to have a specific plan that how you want to handle these situations. So are you going to communicate through like texting each other during the day, each night, like, having like a video chat with each other, or if you are like for example sending gifts to each other every like 2 weeks, every month, all those things, and you need to be aware of this process and how it's affecting your relationship and your marriage. It's very difficult to handle it, but I would say if you want to do that, you need to have a plan. You need to know yourself and the other person and how see that how this kind of long distance relationship is affecting you and your marriage. It's very important to be aware of all those issues. Um, but in general, I would say if you can, even if you have to like compromise, like for jobs and studies and like university and stuff like that, if you can, like spend time as much as you can with each other, is very good. I would say you do that.
Okay, thank you. Just want to be really quick. In the case of meeting someone through matchmaking, how do you go about getting to know the person if you don't live in the same city?
So um you can I think for the first couple of sessions you can start with the video chat with the Skype, Zoom, or like a WhatsApp or whatever that you can, and talk about like different issues, your priorities, expectation, and stuff like that through video. But at least have a couple of sessions in person. If you need to go there, and if you need to like travel to that city, you need to do that. I wouldn't say without seeing each other, you just after a while say, okay, we talk over the Skype, like over the 3 months, and then we get decided to get married. So um, you need to travel, you need to go there at least a couple of times and see each other, go to their house, see the parents, see the family, see where they are living. And because some of the things that you need to know about the family and that person, it's just not through words, just speaking, it's through what you see. So you need to go to see their, where they are living, how they are living, and each members of the family and all those stuff.
Thank you. What about cultural differences? For example, two people who were born and raised in the US, but are just culturally different, like an Iranian and an Indian.
So that one also, um, it's kind of a struggle to get to know each other, because first of all they need to know about the culture of each other. If you are really interested in someone to get married, I would suggest to go and study about the culture of the person. If it is through like just reading some books, or if it is through discussing with someone who is from that culture, I would suggest to go and talk and discuss and study, and then focus on the personal characteristics. So, and also, if after a while, after all those stuff that you did, like getting to know the culture and the person, I would suggest to write down some of the agreements that you have. Like for example, you would say that we're gonna do for a dowry, for the wedding ceremonies, for like for example raising the kids, for like that type of lifestyle that we are going to have after the marriage. Write it down. Write it down and would say, um, this is the way that we are going to doing, for example, the wedding ceremonies. And all the parties, the two parties, agreed on that, like a statement that they added down on the piece of paper. And also for other like issues in their life after the marriage, I said, like for example raising the kids, spending time in um, at home, or some other things that they are doing. Because um, if you don't do that, this is just a suggestion, you can do that like in other ways that would like fit in your like style. So like for example, you would say, I didn't know that you are, like for example, I don't know, eating, for example, dinner at like 11 p.m. So in my culture, it's not like that. So if you, in order to not get surprised by all those like kind of lifestyle or the way that they are living, it's better to it was just an example. Just have it down on a piece of paper and have it between each other. So and then it is also is not something that happened like in you write it down all those stuff in just one night. It's a long-term process. For
Okay.
anything that happened, you can have it down and discuss it with each other.
All right, thank you. Sorry for cutting off Dr. Kianpur. I guess we are out of time. We have two more questions that we don't have time for it. I guess there might be a way to answer those questions like via email or something. With that, I wanted to pass to Sister Gazina if you want to wrap up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for this event today. Before anyone leaves, if you guys could actually rate this event. So we're going to have a poll on Zoom, and you basically rate first the creativity. So 1 being like it's not very creative, then 10 being that it was extremely creative. Apart from that, the second question is going to be about advertisement, so how well the event was actually promoted, and then lastly the session overall. If you guys could rate it, because this is going to go into the competition for the competition, and then the 3 events with the highest ratings this Ramadan are going to be the ones that win. So if you guys could just rate this honestly, that would be great. As soon as you guys are done with that, you guys are feel free to leave. Thank you so much for today. If we can actually have a loud salawat for the organizers and everyone that participated today. Allahumma salli
صل
ala
على محمد
Muhammad wa ala
وآل محمد عجل فرجهم.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Brother Jawad?
You want to stop the live stream?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for reminding.